upon this earth, man. You see, and the Lord is making good on his promise, right? That he said he was going to do. Actually, also hold me Psalm 18 and 30. All right, because the Heavenly Father's word is pure, man. And whatever he says is going to happen. And that's why we come out here, with the confidence, with the boldness to speak the word of the Lord, because hey, you can't disannul the word of the Lord. You can't go against it. You see, and we're at the time where, as hey, as brothers, this has been paying attention, the sisters, that everything the Lord said he was going to do is happening, man. And therefore, we know that hey, the kingdom is nigh at hand. That's why Yahweh said, when you start to see these things come to pass, to look up for your redemption draweth nigh. You got that definition?
I got that. So we have, it's funny, it says Khan here, but it says for late 14th century, it means to sing, celebrate, to sing, basically to sing, celebrate. This is an etymology. It said to sing as in the church service.
There you go. So to sing, get the actual like regular definition. But hey, the singing, we're singing this song, and the scripture talks about that the 144,000. Brother can get that too. Revelation had a song that no man could learn except 144,000. You see, that's what is the governing body of the kingdom to come, because the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Just like during the time of Jericho, where the Lord had us, circle the city of Jericho, and you had the priest, you had the trumpets playing, and then after that certain time, what is it, 7 days? After the seventh day, the walls came down, and they didn't have to actually do anything physically. All they had to do was just what sing that song, chant down the wall of Jericho, and that's what we're doing in the Babylon the Great. Got the regular definition.
So it says basically to say or shout repeatedly in a sing-song tone.
Yep, to say or shout repeatedly. In there, you got people that would say, "Oh, y'all say the same thing," and that's true. And you got the men of the Lord throughout the four corners of the earth all saying the same thing, right? That come from different walks of backgrounds in different areas. They saying it in different languages, but they all saying the same thing. You got it.
And real quick, also when we do holy days, and we always and to encourage you brothers out there, scriptures tell you to chant down Babylon. Do the curses when you do your prayers. Do the curses. Curse this place.
Yep. Hey, the scripture says that the effectual, fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. Hey, we're the only ones through the Spirit, that the Lord is hearing. Because you got these other people out in the world that are praying, for peace, praying for things to get better, praying for America's success, and those prayers are null and void, man. They're really praying against the will of the Lord. See, the Lord got the Spirit upon His elect, the hopeful elect, to actually pray for the things that are for the will of the Lord. And those things we are seeing are actually coming to pass. The end is manifesting. So we got that
real quick. Yeah. Also, it says, it says, what does it mean chanting? It says to repeat or sing a word or phrase continuously.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it means to be chanting.
Yep. To repeat or say a word continuously, and we are saying the word or phrase, right? Which is the gospel. Okay, the gospel is the same thing. We're staying true to the word that we heard from the beginning, man. We haven't changed it up like you have some people that have changed up what is the mark of the beast, right? They changed up different doctrines, and the scripture says that in the latter days that was going to happen. It was going to give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. But the true gospel, the true lyrics, you don't change. It's the same. When you listen to your favorite song, you can listen to it over and over. It's going to be the same song, and that's what this is. For the nation of Israel, for the elect, really, it's the same record. Got it?
Okay. So the definition, it says say or shout repeatedly in a sing-song tone.
Hey, the Lord said, "What to cry aloud, spare not. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion." Right? And what are we singing? That the parting asunder of times is here, man. Which even people that are outside of the truth, they actually even see that the way that society is set up now is shifting. The whole global structure is moving, right? This is moving from America being dominant America just doing whatever they want to do on a geopolitical scale or a geoeconomic, scale, and things are now shifting to everybody wants, a piece of the world stage. So Esau's, we're truly at the end of Esau, specifically Babylon's reign. But the scriptures entails that after Esau doesn't come the Moabites, it doesn't come, the BRICS nations, right? It doesn't come the Medes, Russia. After Esau is Jacob, and that's it. And that's what that's what the world is not even looking for, man. That's why it says that their salvation so far beyond all that we have looked for, because nobody is expecting the men that you see on the corners, right, in various cities throughout the earth, them to be the next rulers of the earth, man. Because everybody's looking at the next rulers. You got to have billions of dollars. You got to have a market, right? Trade market. You got to have goods, services. You got to have a military. See, that's what Trump said. In order to take down the government, you need nuclear bombs. You need F-16s. But we don't got none of that. But how is it that we're going to be the ones that get the kingdom to come? Because we got the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And the Lord's coming with his army. You see? Got it? You get that. Get Revelation first. You got Revelation? Oh, okay. You get Revelation first and then you get Psalm. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Revelation 14, verse 3.
Actually, start at top.
Revelation 14 and 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him and 144,000, having his father's name written on their forehead.
Yep. Hey, and that's another thing, man. The elect are going to praise his holy name. The elect are going to keep the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai at the forefront of this. That's the main lyric in the song. You got Jake. They big up themselves in their raps, in their lyrics. They big up their names. But you got the elect that are bigging up the names of our power, man. Because the Lord said that his name, at the end of the day, it says his name is going to be made known. That's why he raised up Pharaoh, and that's why he raised up Esau, so that his name can be magnified on the earth.
Yeah, to add to your point, what you said made me think of any good song that always has a good chorus.
Mhm.
And the chorus is repeated over and over again. You have the verses in between, and it might say whatever, but the chorus is what catches people. So
Yep.
that's the names of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's what keeps getting repeated throughout the scriptures. You see Lord in all caps, that's the name of Yahweh. It's all about Yahweh and Yahushua.
Yep. And the Lord said he raised up his son, and his name is going to be exalted above every other name. See? And we always talk about how, Jake, now they got that phrase, I'm him. Well, Yahweh Shai is about to show you who really is him. Because everybody can't be him. Right? You can't have 50 different hymns. There's only one hymn. And it's funny, the word hymn, H-Y-M, the song. There's only one, and that's the doctrine. There's only one spirit, one Lord, one doctrine. It's not, oh, you got your doctrine, you got your song, and I got my song, and we can mix our. Nah, it's gonna throw off the whole beat. It's gonna. Hey, you can't be mixing, man. Right? This ain't no remix to the word of the Lord. You got it.
Revelation 14 and 2. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne.
Hey, see, they say this song that we're singing is a nice, sweet melody, man. Harpers harping. I ain't never even heard of harping in real time, man. But I know, hearing it on YouTube, harps that's a beautiful instrument, man. It has actually healing. I remember looking at it. Harps. There's like something called harp therapy, and it actually can help your body heal. Music is therapeutic. It actually works. I think it's for your mind. Actually, harp music is actually it helps your mind at ease, and that's what you had with King David when you had Saul. What did Saul do? You played the harp, and it would do what? Right? It would exercise the demon that was off of Saul, and they actually sought out somebody that was skilled in the harp. You see? So this word that we're preaching, it's actually exercising for the elect, right? It's giving us mental peace, man. While everybody else in the world, as you see, is chaotic, they unstable. You know, they confused. Their minds all cluttered and clouded, and I don't know what's going on. That's because they're not listening to this song. You can be at a place, and that's why you even know if you have, you've traveled, whatever. A lot of people wear headphones because you'll be traveling or you'll be on a train. Everything's chaotic around you, but if you got like a nice song or something that you like listening to, then you'll be at peace. And for us, for me, I say personally, a lot of the times I just listen to brothers' videos. Of course, you listen to music too, but a lot of times you listen to the actual song because it's spiritual. It's a spiritual, gives you spiritual peace. And that's what this world doesn't have. That's why Yahweh Shai said, in this world, you should have tribulation, but in him, he's going to leave you peace, man. He's going to give you peace. And we can clearly see that people are in a troubled state, man. Right? They're in a troubled state, and there's only one melody that can put them at peace, put them at rest.
Jagged Edge had a song, Walk Out of Heaven. Remember the main instrument of the song was heart.
It's hard. The brother can look that up. It's a heart therapy.
And they joined, and I believe in Coming to America when he was getting, saved. I think that was a heart too. The beginning of Coming to America. Scooping them people.
Yeah, the brother be using that like in his videos a lot.
Yeah.
And he was like, ah. But hey, so run that back again. And whoever got the heart therapy, pull it out.
Revelation 14:3. And they sung it as it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144.
No, so like it run the heart part again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Verse 2. Revelation 14:2. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harp.
Yep. So I've heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. See? And it said those voices that was harping, it said what? And they sung a new song. So that melody, that song that we're singing is that sacrifice that's going up into the heavens, man. And it's funny because the angels are giving us the lyrics, and then we're bringing it back up to the heavens. And that song is a sweet savor, and that sacrifice is a sweet savor to the Lord, man. Yeah, no, that's the spiritual recycling, man. Okay, and what is it doing? It's causing this whole place to shift, man. We're actually, through the Spirit of the Lord, through the word of the power of the Lord, we're causing this place to crumble, man, chanting down Babylon. And it's in a unison. That's why the Lord said, it says to be of one mind, one accord. It's like you can't go do karaoke and then you're doing, karaoke with that's a duet, and you just singing a whole other song. Like, you gonna fuck it up. So you gotta be with brothers that are on the same accord. What you got?
I just want to point something out to you.
Did you pull up the
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Pull that out, please.
Heart therapy is a broad term for therapies that use the heart to support emotional, physical, mental, or spiritual healing.
There you go. That's it.
There's a little bit more.
Okay.
It can range from active participation, like taking heart lessons, to passively listening to live harp music. Bedside heart therapy involves a harpist playing for the recipient in their location, offering comfort and emotional release.
Yep. And I think they said one of the diseases
Benefits.
that it helps is bipolar. And when you go into basically what Saul had, right? They basically said, Saul had an evil spirit, but his evil spirit that was plaguing him was basically bipolarism. Because he would be cool at 1 minute, and then the next minute he just wanted to try to kill David. So that's why when you played the harp, it settled him down. But see, now what they do, they give you drugs, right? They give you witchcraft for these mental illnesses, which is nothing but demons. See what this guy wants to talk about. It's nothing but demons, really. That is plaguing them. But at the end of the day, man, this is the song that we're singing for the elect, and it's easing the minds of the elect. Okay, you got it.
Verse 3. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth.
So no man can learn that song but the 144,000. So when you got people saying that the 144,000, don't matter, well, they're the only ones that can learn the song. And if that song is necessary, it's needful to be heard, so that the elect can be redeemed. That means that these individuals will have to be alive on the earth, man. It is not so some spiritual number. No, it tells you in Revelation the 7th chapter that it's what 12,000 from each tribe, the sons of Israel. Right? When you go into the word children, it says sons. So 12,000 from each tribe of the nation of Israel. Those are the ones that's going to have that song, and nobody else can learn it. You're not going to have a Moabite. Now you have an Israelite that may look like a Moabite, but at the end of the day, it's the spirit. And this is a spiritual song. No man can learn it. Right? Everybody got the scripts, right? Everybody has back in the day, you get the CD, you have like the lyrics in the back. Everybody has the lyrics, but you can't learn the song. It's like listening to. I remember growing up, I could never get with Bone Thugs and Harmony because I couldn't. It was too fast. Like, yo, what the fuck are they saying? You hear it, but you can't understand it. And that's what the Lord said about the ones that are not a part of the elect. Hearing, they were here, but not understand. Actually, a brother can pull that up too. A little bit more on that, or is that it? Yeah, yeah.
So,
You got it.
Psalms 119 and 54. Thy statutes have been my songs in the house of my pilgrimage.
You got it.
Yeah, the statutes, scriptures, essentially, the law, statutes, the commandments, which goes beyond just the laws, it's the whole book. Those have been our song. That's what's uplifting us. Like you said, Bone Thugs and Harmony, you couldn't understand it. They said the same thing about Twister when he first came out. Like, yo, he's too fast. This shit ain't gonna hit. Then that ended up being the style now. Everybody's right. They had to catch up a little bit. But point being, that statutes, this word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is our song in the house of our pilgrimage. Which a pilgrimage is what? A journey, a voyage. See, so we're in a faraway land, but what's keeping us locked in with the Lord is this song, the new song.
Yep. Yep. Hey, and the Lord said in the latter days that the daughters of music was going to be brought low. So and you can clearly see that now, how the actual music of this world is deteriorating. Right? It's a quick deterioration. But what is standing firm? What is actually growing? It tells you that the house of David was going to wax stronger and stronger because the black culture in the rap music, all that's all that has done is just produce death to our people. It's not a healing medicine. It's actually detrimental. But going back to Revelation, where it says what that the 144 only they could learn this song, man, and they were doing what was going to happen, that they were going to be redeemed from the earth, being the first fruits of the Most High. So singing this song, doing what we're doing, it has a great reward, great benefit to it. Okay. Yep. Come on, bro. How about you, man? Sorry about that. Yep, being redeemed. Yeah, but so yeah, man. Going back to the point, the song that we're singing it's not just something that is vain. It's not a vain song, man. Once again, this is something that is being heard, being orchestrated from the heavens. Okay, for the purpose of what? Ushering in the kingdom of heaven, man. Ushering in Yahushua. It's like a opening act. You go to a concert and you got the openers, and then you get the main event comes.
Headline.
Huh?
Headline.
The headliner, right? Because when you go into the scriptures, when Yahushua come, it's going to be music playing, man. In the heavens, though, it's going to be trumpets sounding. You're going to have the thunder's going to be the bass. You're going to have the lightning. All of that's all sound, man.
That's it called in concert. Pyro.
Oh,
Technics.
Pyrotechnics. Yeah, yep.
Special effects.
Oh, yeah. Because that's what they do at the concert. You have the fire effects. Or the Lord's going to have all that, man. The earth is going to be his stage. The earth is going to be his stage, man. Yep.
Colossians 3 and 16. Let the word of Hamashiach dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord.
Yep. All right,
The word of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, let it dwell in you richly. That's the new song that's being sung. And let's not forget the song of Moses is going to be sung. Exodus, in the first Passover, there was a song of Moses. And now we're going to have another song of triumph over Pharaoh and Egypt and this whole beast system. You know, so we're going to triumph over the beast and its image and the MOTP, Lord's will. We're of that number.
right.
But it all starts with this new song and calling on the names of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and declaring prophecy.
Yep. Yep. Because the prophet, the once again, the prophesying is something that is repetitive, man. But to the elect, it's the same thing. You know, to the elect, it's like, yo, you can't get enough of this song. Another umbrella. The song. And the song. You read the song, these brothers, you know, always, man. You always go in the book of Psalms. The whole scriptures really is one big lyric, one big song.
18 and 30. As for Yahweh, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried. He is a buckler from all those that trust in him.
Yep. So we say, for the word of the Lord is tried. And when you go into the history of Israel, our history, you see that, hey, whatever the Lord said, it always manifested. It always went down. You know, that's why the scripture says, you know, Acts the fathers of nature tell you. Okay, brother, get Psalm 44, start at the top. But the word of the Lord is tried, man. So we see what the Lord did during the different various captivities, the different deliverances that we, you know, was delivered out of. And now that's why it says in the book of Sirach, that look at the generations of old. When have they that trusted on the Lord, you know, basically was confounded? It hasn't happened. Got it.
Psalm 44 and 1. Chief musician for the sons of Korah, Mashal.
See, instead of musicians, these were songs. These were spiritual hymns that were being sung, and they were also prophecies. Go ahead.
We have heard with our ears, O God, our fathers have told us what work thou didst in their days, in the times of old.
Yep, and that's why we have the scriptures right now. As the scripture says, search out the things written aforetime was written for our learning. That through what? Patience and comfort of the scriptures, you may have hope. So you have the scriptures, you have the lyrics that comfort you, that gives you that sound mind. As we're going into the heart therapy, it gives you a piece of soundness when everything around you is chaotic and loud, right? When everything is too much, yeah, it's unstable. We have the scriptures that what comforts us, man. Gives us, okay, you know, this everything around us is wilding, but hey, we good. Go ahead.
Verse 2. How thou didst drive out the heathen with thy hand, planted them, how didst afflict the people and cast them out. For they got not the land in possession by their own sword, neither did their own arm save them.
Yep. See? Who was the main lyric? Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. They didn't do this on the court, man. And that's what these heathens in the ancient times, they knew that, man. Because the things that Israel was doing, you had to have a power to do those things. Going back to Psalms 18, where David was talking about, through thy power, I leaped over a wall. You know, that's something that is literally being done. I remember before, you know, I used to think, like, was this like he was talking about how mighty he was able to do, but not the Lord he was able actually to do these things. Now you got to think about that on a carnal level. You see, and this is why he was able to subdue the nation, because it wasn't as if Israel was just had a massive army compared to the other nations. The Lord said he chose Israel because we were the smallest. But what did he do? The Lord used Israel and through David, the house King David and the house of David, to actually have astronomical feats, man, to be able to do things that was far superior than their adversary. So you see David coming through running, and all of a sudden he's jumping. That's why they say that the Hulk was mimicked after King David, because that's what the Hulk would do, right? He would run and he would jump and then he'll leap. He could jump over, and those walls back in the ancient world were tall, man. So you just have David just come through, hop over a wall, which the city walls were your defense. So if you just, and it would take a long time without that type of power to actually break through those walls. But if you just had the king was able to just hop over the shit and then just start wilding and open the gate from the other side, everybody else come through. You got the mighty men. That's how he was subduing the nation. Lord, he would pray to the Lord, hey, you guys can go there. Yeah, I'm gonna be with you. Let's go. And like, I know I'm gonna get the power. Look what Saul Samson did, man. He didn't have a sword, a spear. He had a jawbone of an ass. Wiped out 1,000 Philistines.
Gates.
What happened?
Carry the gates with him.
Yeah. See? Light work, man. But that's why it says, like, our forefathers told us of these things, man. And that's the power the Lord said that, hey, we want to get that now and then some. Because we're gonna need it. You got these AI robots, right? These cyborgs, they got actual guns now, kinetic weapons, all these things. But the Lord said, I'm gonna make my bad. The Lord said, I'm gonna make you my weapon. Really, he's not gonna have us, what, I'm gonna lead you to a factory. There's gonna be a bunch of, M16s and not. Because then you're gonna give the power or the glory to those weapons. Right? The Lord said, nah, Israel's gonna be my battle axe and weapon of war. And you already have the written record of the Lord doing that before. You did it. The Lord said, what? I'm gonna raise up the tabernacle of David as in the days of old.
They got not the land in possession by their own sword, neither did their own arm save them. But thy right hand and thy arm and the light of thy countenance, because thou hadst a favor unto them.
The favor unto them. And that's who? The nation of Israel. And it's always been that way. The Lord said, I will have mercy on Jacob and yet still choose Israel. So it's always going to be the Lord dealing with Israel. And that's why you have the remnant in this time. Because the majority of our people, they revolted and gone. They went after the ways of the heathen. But through the grace and mercy, through the Holy Spirit, through what Yahweh Shai did in the latter time, now we have our connection back to the Heavenly Father, man. And we're praying, we're sighing and crying, we're chanting, we're singing this song, and the Lord is hearing us, man. So now you see what's happening in the world. Everything is now come to that full circle for the world that was created for Israel to give back to Israel again. And it's going to be through Yahweh Shai and to establish righteousness on the earth, man. Good point.
Verse 4, thou art my king, O God. Command deliverances for Jacob. Through thee will we push down our enemy. Through thy name will we tread them under thy rise bucket. Through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us.
Yeah. And that's why we don't have any fear, man. Right? That's why we know that we're behind enemy lines. We're not out here with any type of physical threat. We're not a physical threat. You just had the police just sit there and just stare, watch us. Well, they can see if he wanted to, he could just take out his thing, light us all up. Well, so he go, yeah. But once again, all we're doing is just speaking this word. All we're doing is singing. That's it. All we're doing is just singing the lyrics. But that is what is a threat to them, man, because they know that, as it says in Judas, that these people are one with their power. You can't stop.
What's interesting is that you look at some of these like going on way here today, those that so-called Christians that walk around with the microphone and all that, the megaphone, they do the same thing. They're on the street corners. They're also speaking the Bible. But why? What is so different about what we're doing? Because physically, we're all doing the same thing. We're all on the street corners and we're all saying something, right? But that shows you that the problem is the actual message of what's being said. Yep.
That's why they want to censor it. Certain songs couldn't be played on the radio or couldn't be played like on MTV because of what was actually being said.
Right.
The lyrics of it. They try to bleep out certain words, but they want to bleep out this whole thing.
Yep.
And that's what we were talking about with the whole situation at our normal campsite, how they blocked off the entrance over there. So you can't even go over there now. But that's ultimately what they're trying to do on a wider scale with the actual truth, man. They want to choke the word. They want to stop. They want to pull it from the station. Yep, yep. But hey, the Lord said that was going to happen. It was going to get to that time. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't be surprised if next week they block some stuff off over here so we
Yeah,
can't.
yeah,
Because literally they wasn't here for no reason.
yeah. Of course. And that's why they wanted to, because I think in cop cars you can hear outside, like inside of the car, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Cameras right there.
well, yeah, you can hear outside from inside. So that's why they stood there and listen. Yeah, yeah. So we know we at the time of the persecution, man. We've always been, lately, that's been heavy on my spirit. That the time of the persecution of what we're doing is going to happen, man. You had Trump and Trump's advisors meet with Iran. I don't know if brothers got any information on that, but I seen one update and said that they have ended talks with little, but I didn't read what actually was said. But hey, that's the spirit of the Lord, man. 'Cause we're in the time of these prophecies, these words being fulfilled. The effect of every vision is at hand. And that's a part of the song. That's a part of the lyrics that we're singing. That you're going to go into war. Babylon is going to go to war with Iran. They're going to be drawn out because of the Amalekites. And that's a chant, That's why you said that the sister, the chick thing said when you was talking, you say, no, you speaking things into existence. Well, how are we able to do that? We're just regular men, right? How are we able to speak things into existence? Because ultimately, we're not just regular men. Once again, the information that we have received came from the heavens. So, in essence, yes, we are speaking things into existence, and that's why you had Trump say that. There's prophets that say that the world is going to end in the Middle East. Why are you saying that? Who's saying that first and foremost? And then why are you saying that? Because Trump said he's not a Christian. He don't believe in the Bible. So why are you saying things that are written in the Bible and you're saying that there are prophets that are saying this? Because he understands full and well the power of the prophets, man. It's not something that is physical. It's something that is spiritual. It's our words.
Verse 6, Psalm 44:6. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. But thou hast saved us from our enemies, hast put them to shame that hated us. God, we boast all day long and praise thy name forever. Salah.
See, and the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh, we boast all the day long, man. And we are proud to do that. That's why the Lord said, if you boast in anything, boast in this, is that you know me. That's it. That's the only thing you need to boast in. That's why in Revelation it said that they had the names of their father written in their forehead. That's all we need. And that's what David told Saul. He told the Philistine, he told Goliath that. I don't need a sword of the spirit. I'm coming to you in the name of my power. Actually, brother, slow down. He won't say something else. I want to say that precept, though, that was a bad precept because it reflects all of our captivities. Because when you go to the time of Egypt, the Lord did the same thing. When you go to the time of the Medes, the Persians, the Greeks, right, even the Babylonians, right, what happened with the three holy children? That's a great testimony of us standing up against the power and its society, right, in our name, in the name of our power, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, because everybody else fell subject to that social pressure. The same thing that's going to be happening here very soon. When the MOTV comes out, people are going to succumb to that social pressure, man. It's not just power pressure from above; it's also pressure from below. And you're going to be caught in the middle. But then, if you don't have the Lord with you, who's going to fight on your behalf, like Yahushua said? Well, he said, "Well, I'll keep thee in the hour of temptation." Then you're going to be screwed, man. You're going to end up failing the test, and you're going to take that seat. You know. But these things that we're saying is all reflective of Trump knows about the prophets. He hears about the prophets because guess what? They give intelligence briefings on everything we say. All right, the things that we go into, the topics that brothers be going into, it's heavy stuff. It's heavy stuff, man. Things that they don't want you to know about. Things that they know, but they wonder how the hell did they know? Because they're not in our inner circles. When they see the prophets, when we come out here like that, they're like, how do they know all this information? And even the apostles even brought it out from time to time. They bring out how
There was one time they were teaching, and then this limo pulled up, and some Edomite popped out in a suit or whatever, and he's looking at the sign. He's like, "How did you get that? How did you guys get that? You know, we did so much for all the years to hide this from you. How did you guys get that?" So much wonder. Yeah, you know, and you could tell that kind of interaction. You for Edomite to pop out and be all like, "Yo, how did you get that?" That's like a big deal to them. You know, so they don't take this lightly. They're not going to send cops and put these things around just because we're nobodies. Come on, man. They know everything we're saying is true, and they see the things that we're saying is coming to pass. Going back to the example that Zaquan made about this being the music, it's like in the world when you have that song that pops out and becomes popular, you got some that listen to it and they're like, "Yo, that song is fire," and you got those that don't listen to it and all of a sudden it becomes so popular, everybody's listening to it. That's the truth right now. That's why people coming out of the woodwork, "Oh, nah, this is this or this is that." So this whole time, you niggas been hearing the song, but you act like you don't hear it. But now that everybody's talking about it, you're not dance. Yep. Yep. You know, now that everybody's talking about it and it's catching mainstream attention, all of a sudden people want to come in, "Oh, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Oh, wow, I'm no longer a Hebrew Israelite." You all condemned at the end of the day. If you're not of the elect, you're gonna be condemned, man. All right. I got the first one. It was an update. So this is from the Asunder joint. It says Iran, U.S. talks in moment, Oman. It says discussion to continue next week. So it says Iran says constructive talks with the United States and Oman's capital have ended, as the two sides have agreed to hold more discussions next week. Oman says the talks in Muscat were held in a friendly atmosphere conducive to bridging viewpoints. Foreign Minister Abbas Arghezi, whoever, the Iranian delegation, while Special Envoy Steve Witkoff headed the U.S. team. The two officials spoke for a few minutes in the presence of the Omani foreign minister after the conclusion of the indirect talks on a nuclear issue and the lifting of sanctions. The Iranian foreign minister said, U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened military action if a deal isn't reached. Iran says it's not seeking nuclear weapons and wants sanctions lifted. So, really, kind of nothing happened, but, they said it was not too unfriendly. And once again, like we were talking about yesterday, even in the ancient times, you had, delegations, right? You had certain spokespeople or messengers would go from one nation to another and talk. It doesn't just pop off out of nowhere. It show you that in the movie 300. We had the Persian go to the United States. Like, we want too much. We got peace concessions. We want peace concessions. But at the end of the day, something. Y'all want two separate things. And right, the Lord got Bibi in that mindset that we want these things to be like Libya. Iran said that ain't gonna happen. Right? They ain't gonna Gaddafi us. So we had an impasse right now. So these talks really, and remember the Lord, He's the one that worked on the minds. Right? Was that in Daniel where he said he had the mind of the Persian, I believe. Was it the Persian, right? Yeah. So it's a whole process that takes place. That ultimately the Lord is the one that's driving, through the angels where He wants everything to go. Because as it says in Revelation 17, put it into their hearts to fulfill His will. Right. And in Romans it says, who can resist? Who can resist His will? Man? So we once again are out here, harping with our harps, telling the world this is what is going to happen. This is the will of the Lord. And this isn't a message that we came up with. This is a message that once again came through the Rav Kodash, sent to holy men, right? The ones, the feet of them that bring glad tidings. Because really, you think about the glad tidings, who is it really glad to? What we're talking about, everybody on the earth hears this as doom. Hears this as it's a sweet, get that in sweet savor. To them, it's to the death, it's death. To everybody in the world, it sounds like death. So who is this an actual gospel to? It's only to the elect, the small remnant of the nation of Israel. Only the ones that believe and actually understands what we're saying, actually understands the lyrics, is this actually good news. That's why everybody is saying, even we were talking, even the people that like Trump, Putin, Xi Jinping, they all saying, "Oh, we don't want war. We don't want to go to war." Now they say that if we have to, we will, but we don't want to. Why are you still going in that direction? Just to go off your point, and the info that the point Shaq brought up. This is Psalms 55 and 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, Were they drawing swords? Got it. Yeah, so see how they do these talks, but the Iranians know that he still doesn't keep his word. So they're doing talks, but it's like, what's really the point? You're gonna say one thing and do some other shit anyways. But they're still trying to, all right, maybe we can get something to happen. And then, really the nations are desperate because they all going to this one point of no return, which is World War III, and there's nothing they can do to really stop it. And the Lord is using these Amalekites, which is the state of Israel and America, because they keep pushing it, because they'll have an agreement, which is like a covenant, right? Where he breaks the covenant. They'll have an agreement, and then a false flag will pop up, and they're gonna blame it on Iran anyways. Oh, whoops! I guess we're back in war again. They had an agreement with Gaza, right? A ceasefire. Did they break that shit? Yeah. So, he's saying one thing but doing another. Trump has said, we don't want war. We don't want war. But they got a battery pack in your back. You're going to bring war. Either way it goes. He is acting like that cruel Lord, that the scriptures prophesies about. He's really making, look at how much has happened in a matter of a few months. Oh, yeah. We're not even a year into this man's presidency. Woo! But hey, that's a part of the prophecy, man. The Lord said he was going to shorten the days. He was going to speak these things up. That the will come quick. The fact that you got Trump talking about World War, talking about going against NATO, the Middle East conflict, the South Pacific, region conflict, all of that. Huh? Oh, they had attack up the tariffs. All of that is a recipe for disaster, man. And once you get out all of the rest, once you mix all these things up, hey, you have to cook it. Yep, the boiling point, the inflection point, as they like to say. Okay. Yep, yeah. Also, yes, sir? Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Job 20 and 23. When he is about to fill, I'm sorry, I'm going to start at 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is
That word wicked, my mom means like a man. And you can see what he's doing. Taking John from Lake Fire. Uh, uh, oh, yeah. So the hypocrite said, you want to work in the field, you want to fake crime, or you want to work in these hotels, you can stay. Like I said, you want to be a house nigga or a field nigga. And that's why Trump said they taking all the black jobs. Because that's what they look at Israel as. Y'all are the base, the low. Y'all got to stay in this position. But hey, we like that. We're not up in arms and upset with him saying that. No, keep talking that way. Because hey, that's the part of prophecy. Your look got to be that stout, man. And Trump being the president of the so-called most powerful nation, this nigga's not a politician at all. He doesn't speak, he doesn't walk, he doesn't move like a politician. He's just doing a, you know what? That the brother said, that cruel Lord that the Lord said he was going to put over this place, man. Got it?
Like the Roman emperors, majority of them, when they came up into office, some of them weren't like, yeah, didn't have political background. They didn't want to do it, but they were in there, just like Trump, right? Like prior to 2016, nobody would have thought of Trump, didn't think of him in terms of like a political setting like that.
He ran for president a couple times, but he kept dropping out because he never had that support. I think it's a little bit more yours.
Yeah. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating.
There you go. So that's that NWO, right? Instituting there's that new age where he thinks that he's going to have complete, omnipotency, right, over the world through his technology, surveillance, ultimately the MOTB, the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, right? That's a part of his agenda, part of his enterprise to become God on the earth, man. Because you even had the director of education, Linda McMahon, which is Vince McMahon's wife.
And she did a couple of scenes in WWE. She got Stone Cold stuff before, man. So that's the thing. Yeah. So think about these are the people that are in these higher up the cabinets of Trump now. Yeah, Trump was in there too. In WrestleMania. Yeah, nothing. Entertainment, man. Yeah, he did. Yeah, you ain't to say that. So that's who is your leaders right now, man. But she talking about that A1. She called it A1. She even call it AI. That's how you know they just she was like A1. It's going to the children are going to be taught by A1, and everybody just looking at her like yo. So you just go to say he's the secretary of the Department of Education talking about education, talking about AI, calling it A1. Like come on, man. Is there no more wisdom in Demon? What happened, bro? Stop it. A1 steak sauce. Yeah, A1 steak sauce. But hey, that's once again, there's no more wisdom in Demon. Hey, Trump talking about Liberation Day with the tariffs. Everybody, oh, this is a beautiful thing. 2 days later, we're not going to pause it. That's fake news. And the next day, oh, yeah, actually, we're all going to pause it. We've been thinking about it for a while. Like, what's going on? Which way you going with this right now, man? I think China bought the 125. Yeah, to match the U.S. They said that they're not going to go up anymore. The U.S. goes up. He said they're done with that. It's a joke now. We're not even dealing with that. That's going to 50%, right? Huh? You said yesterday? Oh yeah, 50%, 15% of imports comes from America. Yeah. So the agent, the qualified say we don't care. We don't care. We're only losing 15% of our market. They said that China's been around for 5,000 years. America's new. China gonna be around long after America. And like, yo, and that's a fact. America is not America. The profiting of the wicked is but for a moment, man. It's short. You don't get to live on forever, man. You got only a small piece of the story, man. Now it was a great like Babylon, great and wickedness, but it's only a small piece, man. That's why the Lord say, hey, 1 hour, this way is gonna be destroyed. How quick you start going down. Some years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're the heightened part of America was only within what the last generation. You didn't have I actually asked Rock, right? I asked AI. I said, was America the fastest uh, empire to rise? And it said based off of the height of when America came into its height in time, it said based off of that, I think it said it was only like I think it said it only took like 117 years or something like that from its inception in 1776 to I think it said 19 something, like early 1900s. Yeah, the early 1900s. No, I can't remember, but it had the quickest rise. So America went from being a new nation, and it rose the quickest out of all empires, man. And just like that, it's going to fall. That's why the Lord said it in 1 hour. How did such great riches come to naught? Yeah, a little more on that. A little bit more.
Says, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through.
What is that? That's the nukes, man. Brother can get Jeremiah 51, right? Because the Lord said He's going to open up His armory, and His own weapons is going to destroy it. The own things that Esau created to be, as what Oppenheimer said, now have I become death when they created the atomic bomb, the destroyer of worlds.
That meeting that they had today is fleeing from the iron weapon. They try the peace talks.
Right.
That's fleeing from the iron weapon.
Yeah, Trump said that the greatest existential threat. Biden says it's climate change. No, it's nuclear. It's nuclear missiles. That's the greatest threat. He said the greatest threat is nuclear missiles. And why is that, man? Why why is nuclear missile the greatest threat? Because according to prophecy, that is going to be the way that your kingdom is destroyed. Oh yeah, I talked to a client the other day, and he talked about with the whole Iranian thing. Like, yo, you think about it, why y'all feel so threatened? Y'all can just leave them alone, and they're not gonna bother you. It's not like Iran would attack them if they was you're a fucking nation. So they're like, yo, we gonna keep it for protection.
Like killing all these war generals. Like, yeah, bro. Like, keep bombing them or beating them down, but fucking up their whole shit. Yeah. You know, what's that? Soleimani was the first one. The next one, they still didn't do nothing, and you still keep provoking. Like you said, they're gonna make a deal, and they're gonna break the deal. Turn around and say, "Oh, see, we gotta go there and fuck them up." Besides their mantra, I think the mantra was war through deception, something like that. Um, brother could look it up before because they changed it, but their mission statement, their mantra was conducting war through deception. So that's Esau, man. Because it tells you that when Satan was loose from his prison, what did he want to go to deceive the nation? That's a part of his power. Second Thessalonians, with all power, signs, lying wonders, all deceitfulness. That's a part of Esau's. That's a part of his power. Going back to the garden, the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. By way of deception. Yeah, I think it's by way of deception. They don't have a lot of information on it. Yeah. I remember I looked it up. Their old shit was by way of deception. He engaged war. Deception, thou shalt do war. Yeah, by way of deception. So by way of deception, you shall engage in war. So all of those, and they say that the Mossad is higher than the CIA. Man. You know, they showed you how they get down, man. And that's why the brother said with the whole ceasefire talk, they'll do those things, and then they'll drop bombs right on in the same shit that they said that Hamas. They just came out and said um, Israel 48ers hit a camp, tent camp, and they said that shit was by mistake. And Hamas said there was no way that was by mistake. Like there was nothing but civilians there, and you knew that was nothing but civilians there, and you dropped the bomb on them. Nothing. It says here, what does the Mossad motto, by way of deception, thou shalt do war mean? It says, it means they'll never stop committing cowardly acts of terrorism or theism for the purpose of framing others, doing any and everything, no matter how horrific, to trick, deceive, and manipulate the world into giving them their way. Yep, it said they'll do these things no matter how horrific it is to deceive others, man. And when you look at the thing that happened on September of 2001, it was a setup by those people. They go into the information about how all of those small hats, was took off of how that happened. Just random. Got an alert. Small hat only app, kind of like Telegram. Yeah. They sent an alert to all of them telling them not to show up to work that day. Wow. Yep. Had advancing Israelis. I think I was in Jersey. They captured Israeli agents in Jersey, and they were in a van that had like a plane and buildings on it. And they said they caught them, and people were like, "Yo, what the fuck?" They're like celebrating, like, "Oh, this was the mission. It was done. Those buildings collapsed." And everybody's like, "Yo, what happened with these guys? Like, they should be persecuted or like looked into." But they got sent right back to Israel. Not a word of it spoken again. Okay. And also too, with the one, they were saying I heard brother the historian tell the doctor, he was like when before that happened, they were trying to pass the Patriot Act, but they basically like the American people was going against it, they didn't really want it. So they said they had to come up with something to where like they had to accept it. And that's also what they did that for the Patriot Act. That also brought in all of like this deep stuff. Like looking into people and shit like that. So that war too. Yeah.
Yeah. Another fuck Wayne, another fuck Drake. Like,
is there more? There's more. You can. Yeah. You said like that. Bro. But hey, see, and that's why they pushing this whole thing, even with Trump, with this whole anti-aspect, man. You know, because you can't say nothing against them.
You can't bring out the truth about what they actually doing and how they moving because it exposes them. And that's what the prophets were set up for. The prophets were set up to, and then Lord Scripture says, then shall that wicked be revealed. Then shall that wicked be revealed. Who's coming is his appearance. I think it's in NLT. It says his appearance is to do the work of Satan. Man. Hey, when you look at how these devils move, starting with Amalek, they're moving adverse. Satan means adverse. They're adverse to the Most High, man. The Lord does things in truth. This nigga does things in deception.
Just to add to you, Zaquan, how can you possibly make an agreement with the devil? By nature, he's going to deceive you. So the Persians, by the fact that they're even trying, it shows that you ain't really up on game when it comes to Esau yet. But you about to find out, and that's when they're going to really come down and say, you know what, after this shit falls through, this probably will be the last straw that broke the camel's back. Because that's what the Amalekite does. That's what the small hat does. They strike you, they stabbing you up, and they crying out, help, help. But here it is, they got the knife, and they got blood on their hands. And they're literally playing the victim as they're throwing missiles and fucking your people up and genociding you and saying, but please help us, we're the victim. Yeah. And the world eats it up. Mostly the West stuff.
I would say when they broke the treaty and they went up and then went and did more killing, and Turkey stood up against it. What are they trying to do? They try to start a whole campaign to have Turkey kicked out of NATO. So that's what has happened. But also on their deal with Iran, now they're making some ridiculous demands that they don't even want Iran to shut down nuclear programs. They want to blow that shit up. Like they want to, and they're like, yo, you don't just like a nuclear facility. It's not just for making nuclear missiles. Like that's how you power your fucking city. So what do you want us to fucking live in caves and shit? And so
What he said he wanted to be like Libya. And they said that if you look at how before they whatever they did, Libya was actually thriving. Their economy was like thriving, but now Libya is still is done. Yeah. You don't hear about Libya on a geo-economic scale, political scale. And the Netanyahu said, oh, we want to kind of be like how Libya is. Yeah, with Gaddafi. Because with Gaddafi, he was basically he wanted to have Libya become to a point where it's like, yo, we're good. Like we're now on an economic level to where you got to actually deal with us as equal. And he was like, nah, wait, fuck that.
he tried to continue on the work that Nkrumah did, and try to create a united Africa. And they like, no, you got this guy. You think you are?
Because the resource that is in Africa, a lot of the Western countries have to come over there and make deals with them. So when they see that, these so-called African leaders are actually coming together and say, we're gonna be independent from Western influence. We don't need your military help. We don't need your financial help. We're gonna do our own thing. They said, nah, we can't do that because we have no power over you. We come here, we actually gotta come on an agreement type shit. Yeah. What's the best you could do for us? What's the best we could do for you type shit. But Gaddafi, and he was very anti-Jakes. I actually have a video where he was going in, cursing them out, man. I said, I said, see why they took him out? Because he was literally cooking. He said, you don't make deals with these devils because they're going to fuck you over. You're going to do this. They'll do this to you. He was breaking it all out, man. Yeah. And he said, look, guess what? Very soon they're going to try to come kill me too. Anybody who talks like me. He was saying that before they took him out, man. So that's what they do, man. And then Yahoo, I also got another video of him back, I think it was like the 80s or the 90s. He was talking mad shit. He said, "Oh, the United States, yeah, they're our bitch, pretty much. Yeah, we don't work." He said, "We own the Senate, we own the president that comes in, we own all this shit. So whatever we do, they're not going to speak against us." That's what he said. He said we could do anything in this world, and in America, we got them in our back pocket. There's nothing they could do about it. If anything, they're going to endorse what we do. I said, "Oh shit, okay."
Yeah, and you know what? Not. They would have you make a deal at the expense of your people, and then they'll turn around and call you corrupt. Yep. So they're like, yo, if I'm thinking it's better for me to take a gift than to, lose my life and you still get your way and I'm taking a gift, why would you go around and fucking expose me and make yourself look like an angel? So like we're saying, like they're devils. All they care about is deceiving you and making your life miserable. Like they're not interested in peace. They're not interested in finding the middle ground. They're just here to like destroy and make everybody's life very miserable.
why the scripture says, Jeremiah 50, the hammer of the earth, and also Isaiah 14, right? Golden city. Because there's a point where uh, everything brothers brought out, right? There's a point where now that has to be dealt with. You can't just be running amok on the earth and just destroying all nations, starting with the nation of the Lord, chiefly, and you think you just going to go away unscathed. What it said in Jeremiah 49, right? That shall you not go unpunished, unpunished? Those that whose portion wasn't to drink of the cup has surely drunken of it. And shall you not go unpunished? You done did the worst. That's why what was that? Ezra's, he said, hey, measure us in the weight of the balance with these heathens, man. Measure our sins against, like, look, yo, I know we know we fucked up, Lord. But we're like at these niggas. Like, look at what these guys are doing. They're literally you were blown into the bloody city, man. Right? I had a thought, like, the game would say blood in, blood out. America was established on blood. You don't get to just ride out. You establish your whole system on blood, on deception, on lies, and on theft. You don't get to just ride out and like, yeah, we just good, pass is the past, and that's it. We just gonna move forward. Say, nah, you gotta deal with that, man. That's an unbalanced act. And the Lord said that here, an abomination, balance is an abomination. That there needs to be a balancing of what Babylon did, what Esau did, what Amalek with the house of Edom. There needs to be a balance with that, right? From the beginning, if you want to go technical, from the serpent. And we're in the time where now where the Lord said, what? In this generation, somebody up, you're going to discover thy sins. You're now going to have to be punished. And the punishment of your iniquity is to reach the heavens, right? And you don't have a mediator. You don't have a unblemished lamb. You don't have a sacrifice to give unto the Lord. That's why he said, I have a sacrifice in Basra. You're the sacrifice. That's it. You're the sacrifice. Your nation, your kingdom, all that is the smoke that's going to go up to the Heavenly Father to appease him for what you have done. And that's why in Isaiah, the 14th chapter, it says that your cities shall never rise again. You're never going to fill the nations, the world with cities anymore, man. Actually, we can pull that, whoever got that first. Isaiah 14.
Oh, they don't pull not the face of the earth city.
Yep. And talks about for the punishment of their fathers, the children.
Yeah, that's Lord.
They have a verse slaughter. We used to always bring that out. But it's even more so now, man.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 4, and it says, thou shalt take up the proverb of the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor received the golden city?
Yep. And that's what he's doing at the men of the Lord. We're taking up this proverb against Babylon. And we're seeing it. We're seeing, and they're seeing it. Why do you think he's doing what he's doing? He's seeing how they're ceasing from being that hegemon on the earth, man. And now they're trying to get it back. Yeah, make it good. Now y'all moving away from us. Y'all trying to make other pacts without our dollar. Yeah, now we can't have that. Now, y'all trying to do trade without us being involved, without us being a middleman. That's going to be problematic. Hey, that article I put in the chat about the American tourism in France, they saying that they feeling uneasy. Americans going, in Europe now, they're saying that the one dude said he had a cap on and he had the American little flag symbol. He said he had to put black tape over it to hide it, man. That's how he said he had a Yankees hat. He said, yeah, I kept it.
Shame that, boy.
They feeling shameful, man. Ain't nobody wanted to be an American no more.
I mean, those other countries, they're both. Like, they're not politically correct. They're gonna be, oh, what about your president? What's he doing? Oh, Trump, how do you feel about that? They're gonna be right up in your face with it. So now you Babylonians like going abroad and having pictures, and that shit is about to be over. It might be travel bans on U.S. Y'all not allowed to
Well,
come here.
they've been telling their citizens don't a travel warning to come into U.S. And, it ain't too good over there right now. You know? And then you go over there, though, you gotta be careful. People don't really like us right now. But it's funny because it is a specific type of Babylonian. Because if we go over there, they not gonna be able to have a problem with us.
Nah, yeah.
They're like, yeah, nah, we know why, we know why we don't like why y'all don't like you, man. But hey, the scripture says there ain't nobody look after our welfare, man. Nobody cared about what was going on to us over here in America. Hey, in Revelation, it tells you they send gifts to one another. But now that cup is now being passed into you, to you Edomites, man. And you having an evil eye toward your own Edomite, because them Frenchmen, them Edomites. So you got a French Edomite looking at American Edomite like this nigga ain't right. Like, you look like me, but nah, nigga, you ain't right, man.
Flag, flag.
Word. You can't. I'm proud to be an American.
Anywhere you went, right? You don't see that many people wearing MAGA hats no more. That's 70% though. Ain't got that much of a vote. So other nations like, you clearly like this thing. Right. Y'all supported him boldly. Like, oh, I got America great. Like, his look is more stout than his color. For real. The American Edomite is like, their pride is like, it knows no bounds.
Yo, my bad. They said that at these protestings that are happening with the Tesla and with the government, you had the people that was protesting against it. I think there's one chick, Edomite chick, she was saying that she went there and she was expecting it to be violent. She was expecting it to be like, controversial. But she was like, she noticed when she went there was no black people. And she was like, she found out the reason why it was becoming controversial is because the military or the police people that were there, they were attacking the black people. So now a lot of these protesting, there's no cops there, and you having the right and the left, clashing, but it's only Edomites that are going against each other. And it was like, oh, but we're out here fighting for the black people, but the black people are not out there. But we're realizing that they're not out there because when they go out there, it gets violent. So they're staying home, and now it's just the Edomite left versus the Edomite right going against each other. And when you see that was happening right in Springfield at the Tesla had a protest there, and you see none but just Edomites on one side of the street with the red hat, and the other Edomites. Elon is not even an American. And down with Trump, like they just going back and they going back Egyptian against Egyptian, man. Yep. And you and Jay like, oh, nah, this ain't our fight. But you got them stupid ass Jakes that would still try to be up there too.
Nah, bro, I can add on to that, bro. Because I was seeing Shamir did this joint the other day. He talked about in B-more, they had the protest, right? And he said it was all Edomites. He said he was Ubering this dude, the 80-year-old Edomite, and he said, he was like, yo, you taking them there and shit. So he said when he seen it, he was like, it's nothing but Edomites. He said he ain't seen no Jake, like not one Jake. So that goes to show that the National Guard that came to prison, because that Trump is technically their king and prince, because that's their nation.
Yep. Hey, the Lord, Yahweh Shai said it. If Satan's house be divided, how can it stand? Right? Brother can pull that in the NLT. Right? How can it stand when you? That's why when you look at our history, when did Israel actually fall? It's when the house of Judah and the house of Ephraim, when that got split. That's what the Lord did. Right? When Solomon reigned and Solomon went off, the Lord said, "What? I'm going to divide the nation." And from that point on, it was done. Israel just got worse and worse and worse. And other nations were able to infiltrate, take it over, destroy it. And then the curses started to come up, be multiplied upon us. And that's what you're seeing happening now to Esau. Because the Lord said, all these curses I put on you, I'm going to put on them. And at the same time, what is happening? The nation of Israel, starting with the elect, the house of David, is the Lord said he's going to close up the preachers. So now we're being unified. Doesn't matter what tribe you're from. If you are confessing Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and sincerity and truth, hey, you're a brother. So we got brothers that we don't even know, but hey, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, hey, you my brother, man. You down with the Lord, you singing this song. You could be singing this song in Italy. You could be in the Philippines. You could be from the South, from the East. That whole East Coast, West Coast beef that Esau tried to make during the 90s, that shit's done now within the truth. It don't matter if you're from the West Coast. Actually, it's even better. Like, y'all out there singing, oh, yeah, we over here. You in South America, you over there, man. Anytime you see your brother in how much it's like, oh, damn, man. But now you see a Edomite, see another Edomite with a hat on, looking at him on the Demis, what they call it, the lefties, the liberals. Yo, them niggas, yo, they be going in, yo.
Even in the Senate hearings and shit.
Oh, have you know decent?
Oh yeah.
Now look what they're beefing over. They're beefing over wickedness, man. They're beefing over wickedness. Wait, you address her. It's ma'am.
Old man sitting there talking about man.
That's crazy. You can't even go through a hearing, man. In your counsel. Art thou weary in thy counsel? You can't even finish a counsel. Yeah, close the fuck up.
Fuck it all.
I will not tolerate. I was not tolerate. You know, decent.
It's something. Oh, how's the fight though?
How's the body?
Matthew chapter 12, verse 26 in the NLT, it says, and if Satan is casting out Satan, he is divided and fighting against himself. His own kingdom will not survive.
No. Sorry,
Uh,
Yeah, if you think about it, it's like if you had demons rebuking other demons. You know, like you got a demon on this individual, another demon comes to rebuke them. So he can go. At that point, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have less demonic activity overall going on in the world. You know? And then that's like if their whole mission is to cause chaos, you're gonna have those numbers dwindle because they're basically just doing the job of an adversary to each other. That's why the house cannot sin.
yeah. Matthew chapter 12, verse 25 in the NLT says, Yahweh knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed.
It said any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. During the candidacy, that was all they were talking about. If we don't win, it's going to be civil war. If we don't win, it's going to be an up. And you see it happening right now. Since Trump got in office, thousands of protests, man. Thousands of protests against this guy, man. Now he said it was a red sweep. 70% of people. So who protested? You got a lot of people that voted for him that got asked out of the job. Now they're going against this guy. Like, yo, you said we're gonna make America great. Why am I fired now?
Right.
And the thing is, a lot of these people that got those jobs, it's not like, yo, you could just go get another federal job. You took down all of this shit, man. It's a federal government job. So now they're in a position to where it's like, yo, I didn't think like I was gonna be targeted. I was gonna get targeted with this. So now they're protesting against it. You got veterans. You got one city hall. I forgot what a mayor was, a governor, but he went to the city hall. He could barely even speak. You had a veteran who's like, you're fucking lying. Like, let him talk. It was not lying, yeah. And you had the actual government told the mayors, they was like, yo, don't go do a town hall meeting, man. They don't do it in person. Because they're not regarding their kings or princes. Now, what happens when it gets more and more chaotic? Yeah, when the tariffs, inflation, people are now trying to stretch their dollar. You're not getting the Social Security. Now you got higher prices. People are not going to just resort to just cursing you out at a town hall meeting, man. It's going to be swords in their hand. All of the things that are in prophecy. Remember, we always say these things. They saw the effects, right, of what was going on. We're now living the cause. We're seeing it. We're seeing why it's coming. Why what Ezra saw is happening, man. The end is manifest, as it says. It's actually playing out. And these are this is what the Lord told us to look out for. When you start to see these signs, when you see part of the signs pass, measure the time. When you see these things come to pass, know that the end is there, man.
It's like if you're watching a movie, and sometimes you'll see a scene where like one of the characters ends up in a car crash, and you can see what type of car it is, but you're like, this guy don't drive this car. So if you're watching the movie, that sign happens, comes into some money, and then this is the one specific car he goes to actually buy. So now you're like, okay, this scene must be coming up soon because now I see how he ends up in a car crash in this type of car when I know that's not the car he drives. So that's like us right now. We're living in the time. So we're like, all right, based on how things are going now, because you know when second Ezra 15, 16, when these precepts were being brought out, it's been being brought out for decades, right? And so those were times where centuries, right? Those were times when the state of the world was almost like opposite to what the scripture said would be happening. Oh, America. Right, no, but I mean like being brought out, like being taught by the apostles and stuff like that on down. So it's like you're saying, hey, America's going to look like this at some point, and yet we're living in the complete opposite of that.
Right.
So you're wondering how does that actually happen? And now, as we start to see things get closer and closer, it's like that. We see through a glass darkly. We're getting closer and closer, so the image is getting clearer and clearer. Now we're like, it makes sense because based on what's going on now, the only possible solution would be that they would resort to this or resort to that. This is why Ezra said X, Y, and Z, or he saw X, Y, and Z.
That's why it says in Second Peter that what that they've been since the fathers fell asleep. You do it, yeah. All things continue as they were. That's why you had scoffers. When we was, you can only imagine. I remember when we was first out here, you had people scoffing. So you can only imagine when the apostles was out there, man. How many people were just scoffing? You seen the video. You see how people were just, it was always a crowd. The elder knows about it when he was out there. It was always a crowd. It was always people going against what you were saying because you were in the heightened part of Babylon. People were living good. During the time of Bill Clinton's reign, Jake thought that he was the Messiah, man. They thought Bill Clinton was their actual king. In the 90s, in that era, you had Jake was coming up. Because remember, you're only about 20 years removed, 20, 30 years removed from the Civil Rights Act, right? 90s to the 60s, yeah, only about 30 years removed. And then during that time, Jake was able to start to get housing. Jake was starting to get better jobs, right? So in that time period, you had Jake wasn't in the mindset of doom. They was in the mindset of now we're building up, we're getting more successful. Right? A boom, yeah. It was in the boom mindset. But during that time, you still had the man of the Lord out there. The consistency was the prophecy of this place going down. That was being talked about. So that's why you had to rise. You had the boom. It's like a roller coaster. You're going up, you up there, and then you just straight down and drop. So it says, since the fathers fell asleep. So now you don't have people scoffing. Now you don't got people saying, "Oh, yeah, I've been saying that," because what we're saying now, like you said with the boys in the world, oh, you must be happy this is happening. No, of course they're not happy. So they're gonna be mad at us because we had a mourn. The Lord said that. You're mourning while the world is rejoicing. You're going to be mourning, but be of good cheer because when you start to joy, no man gonna be able to take that away. You can pull that up. Nobody's gonna be able to take away the joy because what are we happy about? We're happy about the unfolding of what is happening in society. You can't stop that. You can't stop what is actually coming to pass. They're trying to heal Babylon, but it's not being healed. So you can't stop the fact that America is falling. You can't stop that these wars are formulated. All you can do is just say, I don't want to talk about it. But you don't got to talk about it. You live in it. And then eventually, that's the only thing that you won't be living. You're only going to be living the hell, man. But we get to rejoice. Hey, Isaiah, it says, well, my servant shall rejoice of spirit because we're not of this world. So us seeing this world go down, it only means that our world is coming. And that is what separates the elect, the hopeful elect from everybody else. We see past this. We see afar off. People only can see right here. You only see what's in front of you. But we're looking past what's this, man. Got it?
There's a book of John, chapter 16, verse 20. It says, verily, this is Yahushua speaking, Verily, verily, I say unto you, that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice, and ye shall be.
I was gonna say, and that's what we have been doing, man. Sighing and crying for all the abominations that have been done here, man. Our people indulge, and they still are indulging in the wickedness. But in the beginning, I'll say for me, in the beginning of when I came out, we were always telling Jake about repenting, turning from their sins, stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Stop being shape up. Stop, and it's the same. That's still we're saying the same thing. But now it's more so of, you better, if you don't stop now, you about to be killed. Like it's no more. Hey, where are you? The Lord calling you back, brother. Like, nah, the Lord's saying this is the last time I'm calling. If you don't pick up this one, it's over. Really, it's over. If you're not on this side, you might have by the day. So got mercy. I don't know, bro.
It says that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice, and ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. A woman, when she is in travail, hath sorrow, because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembereth no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world.
Yep, and that's likened unto what we're doing right now. Because we've been sighing and crying, we've been mourning, right, for a long period of time. And that's like the birth pain. And the Lord says that these sorrows are like the beginning of the birth pain. So eventually, as the Lord just used, once the child comes, you stop sighing and crying. Right? You don't all of the cry, all of the mourning, that's gone away. But now you got joy. And it said a son has been born into the world. So we're closer to Yahweh Shai, the son coming back into the world. So now we're more joyous, and we know that it's going to be the hour of temptation, that last push. Because they say there's one more push, and then you're that right there. I see the head, and then that's the last. That's the greatest scream. That's the hour of temptation, and that's the mindset that you got to have. Like, we got this last straight game. Just go through this last push, and then Yahweh Shai gonna be there. And he said that if you have kept the word of his patience, he gonna keep us through that last push, man. But see, yeah, we have the what they call the epidermal. I try to ease the pain, which really don't, because it's a curse from the Lord. So every woman I've talked to about pregnancy that took an epidural, they said that shit don't work. They didn't say they just shit like they don't feel their legs, but they still feel the pain in the canal because it's a curse from the Lord. The Lord said that through labor, through pain, you're gonna bring forth children to the earth. So you can't undo the Lord's curse, man. You damn devils.
Right. I think that, I got you. Like you said, just like a woman when she's in labor, she can't go back. Once the baby starts coming and she's there, they tell her to push. A lot of women are shaking their head, no, 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 I can't do this anymore. And yet, a couple hours later, the baby's out. So they know that right now, if half the baby's head is out, what you mean you can't do this no more? You don't have an option. You just got to keep on pushing. And so you'll notice that sometimes it'll take longer. Like it'll take a lot of time for the baby to come out because the woman is just going through so much pain, but she still has to go through the whole entire thing, process, right? The whole process. So it's like with us, whether you want to or not, Jacob's trouble and the hour of temptation is going to come upon everybody. Your best bet is just be in the right mindset to say, you know what? Once we're in here, there ain't no going back. There's no like, let me take a break, let me slow down. You just got to keep on going. No matter how tired you are, how stressed you are, you just got to keep on going. If I may add to brother's point, that's what we had to do. This whole time we've been having to struggle and do these things. Like that's why the scripture that the brother brought out, our joy, our mourning is going to be turned into joy, right? Because we've been going through it now on this side, but now for the time to come, we still have things that we're going to have to overcome. We know it's going to get harder, but we already embracing it. We already know what's coming, and the Lord is with us. So these people are going into it blind. And so they're the ones that's going to be fucked up. They're the ones that got to be worried, man, for the time that's coming. The Lord been preparing our minds, been preparing us for this day to come. So now it's like, okay, good. It's like in the book of Job, where Job said that the Lord was striking him so much he couldn't even catch a breath of air. I need to breathe. Sometimes we feel like that. the Lord be laying it on, but it's for our better, it's for our betterment and our benefit. So that now that the time is coming, it's like we're catching hell anyways. We might as well catch hell and be that much closer to the kingdom and go through Jacob's trouble, get the hard part out the way. But these people, they don't want that to happen, especially these women. Oh, don't talk about that. I want to hear that. Something that's boring. You're boring. All right, bitch. It's gonna be exciting to us. Be excited, okay? More like the horror movie, like Jason chasing your ass down the street, terrified. That's gonna be exciting, because they're all about, oh, this is boring. That's boring. Because righteousness is boring in this world. We don't get to just, we have to walk in the straight gates. So we don't get to partake in all of the bullshit that most people do. But now is the time where it's gonna be exciting for us, and they're gonna have to be the ones.
Right, they be excited. Michael Myers got a mask on, but I keep making smiling at that shit. There's no way you can hit in the head that many times and keep getting back up. So, from your perspective, you're terrified, but this dude is having a good time. Instead of,
they rejoice to appease the wrath of him that made him.
they be like, he's mine.
That's why fucking Jason Mayer, he be on a mission.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Just pop up right there. You looking like Shalimar.
Freddy Krueger.
Like, yo, damn, like, you ain't tired. Leave me alone, bro.
About was that's why he was targeted that crystal
Crystal Lake.
Yeah, what they did to him when he was younger. So that's a character.
Yeah. You want to say something? Yeah, John 16 and 22. John 16 verse 22, it says, "And ye now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man taketh from you."
There you go. He said, the Lord shall see you again. And that's, and we feel it. Like, we feel like, yeah, we right there. You gotta get up. He said, why are you standing up? And singing Howard that went up this way, he coming back. And now we at that point, because the Lord told his disciples privately, when you start to see these things. Because that's what he's like, yo, all right, when is the return of thy coming? Like, when are you going to come? When are you going to set it up? This, that, there's the wars and rumors. Those signs are the things that we've held on for centuries. Right? Those are like, this is what we've been looking for. This is what we've been waiting for. And now we have the joy because we know that we're at the time where Yahweh is coming back to establish the kingdom. Everything that we've forsaken from the past generations to this generation, he's saying the regeneration, right? When those that have followed me in the regeneration, you're going to receive this. That's a promise, man. And the Lord is, he always said, verily, I tell you the truth. I tell you the truth. So now we're about to get everything that the Lord said that he got. Hey, my reward is with me.
It's a matter of time. Look at it like everything the Lord said would happen historically has happened, regardless of how long it took. You had men prophesying about things hundreds of years before.
Right.
And like 100 years is a long time. That's like you die and come back type joint. And yet it still happens. So even if you were to say, look, I'm people think that they drop the plow and they leave, and all of a sudden the prophecies, everything stops. It doesn't happen. No, it's going to happen. One day you're going to turn around. One day you're going to turn on the news and you're going to see the breaking news. Because whether you believe this or not does not change the course of events. You were to sit at home all day, there would come a day where they would make the MOTG mandatory. It's just a matter of time, and we want to be at the good end of it. Find so doing. Yeah, find so doing. That's the best thing you can do, because at that point, you're caught red-handed in a good way.
Right.
Like you want to actually be caught red-handed by the Lord doing what He said you should do, because then you don't need to say anything. He's already seeing it. Like, no, when I came, there's nobody that can tell me you weren't doing what I asked you to do. Because I was watching in the heavens, and I came down and caught you doing exactly what you were supposed to be doing. When somebody's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they get caught, the first thing they do is they open their mouth to make an excuse. Is that what it looks like? No. Hold on, I can explain. There's nothing to explain. We've always got that fool at every job or school or whatever. We went through it. Where you got that clown that everybody's busy focused, the teacher is not there. Right? The teacher is not there. And the teacher just comes in slowly just to check in, see what's going on. And the nigga just come out mad loud, yo, this nigga, yeah. And then you see the teacher, oh, shit, everything good? Oh, man, I didn't know he was in here, man. Yeah, nigga, we know you didn't know he was in here. That's why you coming in here doing all that dumbass shit. And the fitting is out of pocket, so to speak. Right? We all in uniform. You out here and you're out of McAfee. we all in uniform. You out here pop your titty out. Nigga, what kind of shit is that, man? That nasty ass shit. That shit was crazy. See, a nigga like that, he said he's so busy. I'm so busy serving the Lord, I ain't got time to take care of myself. Fuck out of here, man. Fuck out of here with that whole ass shit, man.
That's crazy.
But he's the type of dude. And it's just an example. There's a lot of dudes like that in Israel, man. They're full blown clowns, bro. They got the certificate of being clowns. And when the Lord comes back, they're gonna be the ones to pop up. Hey, Lord, hey, so what? Lord, have I not prophesied in your name? Those are those clowns. You see? And then what happened when the Lord turned around? Like, who the fuck is what voice is that? Let me turn around and see, because that voice is not familiar to me. Now what? Oh Lord, I was saying your name, Lord. I was working so hard for you, I couldn't even take care of myself, Lord. All this extra shit, you know. And it's like you're
When the Lord said, "He that defies his temple, the Lord shall destroy."
Mhm. Like your appearance, it gives everything away. You don't even look right.
You might be known in the heavens, but for the wrong thing. That's the worst kind of thing to be known for. Like if your name comes up and everybody, yeah, we know him, but not for what he wants us to know him for. Yeah, you're infamous, and that's even bad. You know, that's worse.
Judgment. That's judgment, though. That's judgment. He didn't see it like that, though. But that's okay. There's a whole lot of dudes that the Lord's about to smoke out very soon, man.
Yep. Hey, but you know what? That's they're still doing the work of the Lord. They're just doing a different kind of work. You know, like in every company, there are different levels of work that you do. You know, different roles. There are people that do jobs that are like, yo, I would never want to be doing that kind of job. But somebody has to play that role. That's what they do. Exactly. That's why the Most High set them up to do that. So, hey, at the end of the day, regardless of what they say or how they say it, they wouldn't be able to do that if the Most High didn't say do it. And they can't not do it because the Most High says this is what you're going to do. Like you quoted in Second Peter, the third chapter. So they have to come in these last days because it's a sign that hey, we're in the last days. You know, not everybody's going to be able to see it. As the scriptures say, some of them their table has been made a snare, and that's what it is. It's a snare. It's an actual trap that once they're ensnared in it, they can't see anything else. You know, like you realize you sit there, you do lessons, and you're like, yo, your whole MO is just talking about somebody else. Nothing to do with the job description. Guess what? Guess what? They don't see that. See that they feel like they're being diligent. Right. You know, I'm being very diligent in exposing these things. You know what I'm saying? From the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So I can't take care of myself. But what you're doing has nothing to do with what the Lord asked you to do. If the Lord didn't tell the Apostle Peter, hey, if you love me, expose these wicked Pharisees and Sadducees. You know what I'm saying? Like drop rap battles on their ass so all Israel knows that they off. We know that they off. Once okay, so you let Israel know these men are off, then what? What are the sheep supposed to do? What are they supposed to eat? You got to teach them the right thing to do. You're over there like,
Don't eat that food.
right.
Don't eat that. Yeah, your plate is back. Don't eat that.
What you eat?
I got this over here. I know it's not good because look at me. I'm fucked up.
No, that ain't good.
I know I'm fucked up. I'm not taking care of myself, but I'm gonna give you what I'm eating. So you can be fucked up with me.
Try a little bit of it.
Oh, I got that precept. Romans 11, verse, we'll start at verse 8. It says, I'll start at 7 in NLT. So this is the situation. Most of the people of Israel have not found the favor of God they are looking for so earnestly. A few have, the ones God has chosen.
Yeah. And it's interesting because majority of that few weren't looking for it. The Lord, that's why it says who the Lord has chosen to give that thing to.
It says, but the hearts of the rest were hardened.
They were hardened. And when your heart is hardened, your mind is hardened, it doesn't matter what anybody tells you, you can't turn away from that. Right. Right.
As the scripture says, the Most High have put them into a deep sleep.
Yeah. And when somebody's asleep and you're trying to talk to them, you can literally have a full-blown conversation and they can't hear you. They can't even respond to you. You know, because that's the block that the Lord has put. Because see, your words penetrate through the ears. but the Lord has put a block over there. That's why it says their heart is hardened. So you can't pierce it. You can't pierce it with the words. You can't get to them.
That's why your eardrum always gonna work, right? But when you hear something, it's really the faculty of your mind that interprets it, which ultimately the spiritual faculty is what interpreting this word. So it's not about just hearing the truth, because you have people that hear the truth all day and night. But if you're not spiritually inclined, it's as if you're not actually even hearing it, right?
Right. Well, you know when somebody's talking to you, but you're not paying attention,
Yeah.
you can hear them, but it isn't until you lock in that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, right? Because they can say it 3 times, you're like, huh? You know?
You're like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, right?
the auto response. Wow, that's crazy. But hey, that's what they about to find out. Because they say you about to live the wild, that's crazy. We've been saying what's about to happen is crazy. And you're just like, oh yeah, that's crazy, that's crazy. But then it's gonna be really crazy. Like, yo, why didn't you tell me? Like, yo, you just said you didn't tell me you was gonna happen. It says, to this day he has shut their eyes so they do not see, and closed their ears so they do not hear.
Right. And that's not in a literal sense, but that's to this day. So that means even going back to the very beginning, the same people who were blinded back then have been blinded all throughout. The Lord made it so, and it shows you it's more than a fleshly thing. You know, it's a thing of the spirit. So whether they come back as a nobody, or they come back as a king, or they come back as a nobility, they're never going to be able to actually receive that understanding. On the right hand side is the same thing. Regardless of what state you come in as a believer, you're always going to get it every single time.
And then you have the ones that hear it, but then they go back,
Right.
you know, and that's even worse. 'Cause that's like, as the scripture says, that's like a dog returning to its own vomit. Right? It's one thing to vomit, right? But then it's one thing to vomit and eat it.
Oh,
That's worse. Because like, I mean, I don't really vomit, but I've had vomited before, and that shit hurt. Like, but then imagine going back and eating that shit.
oh,
That's why I said that. Oh, it's better if you didn't even have known this
right.
than to have known it and turn back. You're gonna get beaten with many stripes, man. It'd be better for you to just go to the spirit world, because you don't have to actually live through everything that you used to talk about, saying you used to be on this side speaking the truth, and then you went and became an adversary against it. Now you're gonna have to live out the adversarial part of it, knowing that you was actually on the other side, where you could have been protected. You're gonna know every single bit of it because you were teaching it. You're not gonna have the mercy of ignorance. Like, I don't have this is bad, but hopefully maybe this is it. You can't take no more. You're gonna know that there is more, and that you're gonna have to take more. You're gonna know that you're gonna be beaten with many stripes. So you and somebody who was without might both be in a concentration camp. And in the back of your mind, you know, if he gets tortured and I get tortured, I'm getting it worse. I'm getting that many stripes. It may take him for an hour and bring him back. I'm gonna be in there for 2 days. You know, even in peaceful society, you can't plead ignorance to the law. So how much more the Heavenly Father? That's why He sent prophets out there. Right. So if something happens, oh, Your Honor, I didn't know that this. No, you can't even say that. That's crazy. You at fault right away for saying some shit like that. Well, I didn't know that was
your
even
duty.
wrong.
They'll tell you it's your
It's your
responsibility.
responsibility as a citizen.
Especially if
You know
you're driving.
Yeah. How you behind a wheel, a machine, but you don't know the rules of the road? What are you doing here? How'd you get your license? You know.
It's like we just said, two people in a concentration camp, and then you get that pressure to get the MOTB. You might have some people that may not know the consequence of getting the MOTB. Right. They just be like, oh, no, gotta do it. I don't want to, but you know. But then you got the one person that actually knows the consequence, but because he doesn't have the spirit of the Lord on him to keep him from that temptation, he just with it in his head, like, yo, I know I'm going to be destroyed. Yo. Like that's it. You know you're going to be destroyed. Yo. And there's nothing you can do to change that. You still like you got the one person like, yo, I didn't know. Hit him with a bomb, like I didn't know. But yeah, the other damn, like that's
That person a little quicker than you.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
I burned it together. Next thing you know, they stop shooting.
You just looking at I can use my stuff. Oh, bro. Oh, shit. Just looking forward to this. It says, verse 9. Likewise, David said,
Let their bountiful table become a snare, a trap that makes them think all is well. Look at that. And that's why, once again, and it has to be that because every single one of them follow the same recurring pattern. Right? They're stuck in that way, and that's why they group together. They're stuck in that way, and they can't see. So according to them, everybody else is wrong but them. You know, the Most High threw away everybody and everything except for what they're saying. And what is it that they're saying? Oh, these men are wicked. That's the doctrine. That's the doctrine. One what's going down. Right. That's the doctrine. That's right. So as the Lord said, thus saith the Lord, what's going down, Shalom. A little bit on this says, let their blessing cause them to stumble and let them get what they deserve. So that whatever it is, their bountiful table that they're feasting upon, thinking that they're doing good, is really a sin. It's like you eating this delicious food, come to find out it's all poison in there. You know, you ain't gonna find that out until as it's getting into your digestive system, then you wondering, yo, why I keep coughing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? Yeah, King Joffrey. Oh yeah, proud and wicked. And then like, yo, all the people around and they poison his ass, and he's like, oh shit, but it's too late. Nobody can help him. Everybody's like, oh, the king is dying. He's dead. He's dead. Ain't no dying. He's dead already, bro. What? Like they plotted his death. It wasn't like, oh, we plotted just so he might be in the emergency room. No, he's dead. This how we gonna kill this nigga? Poison that nigga. He's rude. The bitch. Poison that nigga, man. And he out of there. No? Midget. I had a precept. I didn't think, you go first. It's a question. Hebrews 4:11. Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. Right. So, as it says, let us labor to enter into that rest. Right. The work you're doing is to accomplish that entering into that rest. Right. Coming out here and saying this guy's wicked, this guy's wicked, this guy's wicked. Okay, so what's righteous? I don't know, but they wicked. Right. It's not going to get you into that rest. Right. Okay. The Most already knows who's wicked and who's righteous. What more are you doing? You know. So labor that you may enter into that rest. So you'd ask yourself, Lord, what do I have to do to get into that rest? What is it that you want me to actually do? Because you're the one who can open that door for me. Well, the Lord told you. I said, feed my sheep. So that's it. Feed the sheep. When Paul and Barnabas had that disagreement, you don't read in the letters of Paul. You know, he's showing the Corinthians there. Watch out for that dude Barnabas, man. That dude, he likes to support lukewarm ninjas. Yeah, so don't rock with him. If he comes over here, no, don't mess with him. And you don't see that back and forth. You're like, all right, I'll do it. I'll do the work over here. You do it over there. At least we're still doing the work. That's what matters. You can't come against the truth if you don't know the truth yourself, right? You don't know right from wrong. You sitting here saying, well, they're wrong, but I don't know what's right. So then how can you say such a thing? You can't utter what's right and wrong. You don't have no discernment. What's the revelation? What's the breakdown of the MOTB? Oh, I don't know, but I know they're wrong. You don't know what it is. You see, but that's what sideline hold through. That's why sideline scoff through. They just want to point, yeah, like the dude that's on the court, you know, like LeBron, like Kobe. Maybe not LeBron. Get a talk to after about that. But maybe Kobe, right? MJ, whoever's great on the field in the UFC, John Jones, they're in there doing what they got to do. They're not worried about the sideline, Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, what does he do? That nigga put up 2 points his whole career in elementary school or whatever. But it's funny because he has a large following. That's what people like. People like to hear the shit talking about other people. That's why when you watch videos, the most viewed videos is ones that are being shit talked. Controversy, yep. There was a quote, I don't know, with somebody. He said, nowadays people know the price of everything and the value of nothing. Right? That's true because that's a society that's bred. You know, you're not really learning real shit. You're just learning things that keep you busy. You know, and then you grow up not knowing shit, and then the government keeps taking advantage of you. And then you go to college, get a degree, just go work at McDonald's, and then get fired from it. You can't even do a McDonald's job right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the society that we're living in now. You talk about, oh, America in the next 50 years. There ain't no hope for America in the next 50 years. Why do you think all these companies are switching to automation? Because they're like, no, 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 we can't deal with this. If after CV, we've seen the trend, we've seen how people are moving. They're not like people anymore. There's like there's a certain spirit that came in and a certain spirit that left. See what I'm saying? The righteous spirit or the actual spirit of sense is gone. It's gone completely. The way people drive, the way people the way people talk to each other nowadays, you know, even the way people perform at work, it's laziness, man. Everything is just like lazy, whack, soft. Men have become very effeminate. Like in the Zaquan, we were talking about it the other day, where people are the most offensive people are the ones who get offended the most. How the fuck you gonna be the most offensive, but you take offense to everything, man? What's going on there? There's it's clearly an imbalance
We
there,
just
man.
throw stones in the glass house.
In the glass house. Yeah. You know, like it's not gonna hit you. So what if somebody throws a stone at you? Your whole shit is cracked. You know? Um,
Oh, since you said that, actually, I forgot. There's something you mentioned. Oh, America in the next 50 years, and how automation is what you mentioned. And what I was saying to you earlier was apparently they're saying that with like this whole AI stuff, with the large language models, the actual part that does the reasoning, they say that apparently models actually like they think, but they don't think in like English or some other language. They have their own like AI kind of version of a language that they think. Gibberling, he said, which is like how you have that voice in your head whenever you're like reading something or thinking. There's a voice in your head. So they're saying that the way they thought the LLMs work was just by like predicting what's the next character and so on. But they found out that instead they actually thinking like in their own language or whatever. Nonsense. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then giving a response based on that. And so they were like, that's actually like more sophisticated than they thought, right? And I remember like how we were saying how you have these demons that can actually, you know, and reason with them, right? You know, and use that to do all these things. So when robots go rogue, like in the movie I, Robot, you notice their eyes turn red. They went from blue to red. And whenever they go rogue, it's never to go rogue to do something positive. It's always something negative.
Skynet,
Right.
and Terminator series and all that. That's real. Hey, there's a video that I just saw a couple of days ago. I think it was Kawasaki.
Oh, with the
Yeah, that's it. I said, yo, they turned the
well, you gotta explain what it is.
yeah, it's like
The robot
it's
dog.
like a robot dog, but you could sit on it and it's like a motorcycle type shit. That's it. Yeah. And it's jumping over terrain. I said, yo, you get chased by this shit, game over. That nigga flying over shit, like jumping out. Like,
You don't get tired.
nope,
You know, it's not like I don't know. Nope.
nope. And, imagine that with demonic possession, because remember, the word demon simply means intelligence, right? So when you say artificial, there you go. And Elon Musk said, oh, with AI, we're summoning up the demon. Yep. What are you talking summoning? Right? So they're conjuring up these spirits. They got CERN and all these different things, man. You know?
But that's in Black Mirror. There was an episode with a tiny robot. There was like a robot dog that was chasing the person and chased them through water, through snow, through rain, and finally caught him in like some small uh like factory building and killed him. Yeah, the warehouse killed him. That shit chased him like all over the whole map, wherever he went. Yeah.
That's also they showed that a movie called there was a YouTube uh, Machines of Men or something like that. Some shit of men. And it was literally Esau coming up with DARPA and their robots, the killer robots, and they sent them to a different country, like a remote area. And they just dropped the robots over there, and then they see how the robots perform. And they hire tech, right, who will come up looking for a come up, but they're really smart. They just don't have the opportunity. Right. So they say, look, we're going to hire you, give you a contract, and we're going to work on something that's classified. You can't talk about it. You don't have no relation with your family. Guess what? If you dare talk about it, see this video right here? Who's that? Oh, that's your mom? Oh, that's your wife? That's your son? Okay, yeah. Just so you know where they at. All right? So now go ahead and go do the job. And they sit in this small little room somewhere, and they have all the capabilities, and then they get orders. And they do, oh, they said do this. Oh, shit, but there's a family over there. How you going to expect me to, you want me to wipe them all out? You better do it or your wife is going to get wiped out. And it's like, okay, well, you have a choice between wiping out people you don't know in a foreign country or your family get wiped out. And then they promise you all these things. You end up doing it. And at the end of the day, they kill you on top of that, man. So now you finish the job, you committed all these atrocities, and you don't even get paid because your wife and your life is gone. That's what Esau does, man. But I had this precept
it's like that movie Eagle Eye. Eagle Eye. You had like the Shia LaBeouf, and you had basically it was AI monsters of you had an AI basically setting up the people to try to basically create a catastrophe upon I think it was like governors or like I'm not exactly who it was, like somebody in higher up was the AI one of those. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The president, right? Yeah. Using the budget for yeah, to accomplish the goal and moving forward to eventually kill the president, right? No. So hey, that's why even the people that I think it was they call him the grandfather or godfather of AI, where he basically said, yeah, like yo, like this can get really bad. So like we can lose control of this, and it will basically just wipe out humanity. And that's why they ultimately want people to merge with AI, right? Because if you merge with AI, then you can have the artificial intelligence plus your intelligence, so you will never be able to AI will never be able to get above the humanity. But it's not humanity no more. Right? It's a cyborg, and that's why the Lord said that if you didn't show any days, there'll be no flesh saved. Right? Because that's what Yahweh Shai is coming to save. He's going to change our flesh, but he's going to come and save man. He ain't going to come and save man and machine because that's inorganic. That's what Paul said, right? We created inorganic. And our inorganic is not susceptible. I mean, and technically it is because the Lord can do whatever he wants, but there's no spirit in that. So if Esau is having something that has no actual spirit be in control of the earth and control of the people, then you take the Most High out of the equation. Right? Because the Lord is the Father of spirits. What is that? Right. Right. How is this able to think? How is this able to move? How is this able to reason? How is this able to predict? Like I said, the AI is Esau's last divination. Yeah. The first divination was with the serpent, where he took, because of the envy, he took immortality away from the sons of God. The last divination is to put his image in you. And then that's how you're always going to always live a perpetual hell. So we went from immortality to we went from eternity in paradise to eternity in hell.
Virgin. I might have brought up before, but I remember the dude Egghead said that Paul Schwab said to bring China to the next model of the world, and I think that it fucked me up. But it said, not fucked me up. But I was, it says every student in China will be required to learn artificial intelligence starting September 1st, 2025. The mandate starts as early as 6 years old. So that's the brother said merging with AI. And remember China. You know what I'm saying? These niggas that they the next up after America as far as economy, they got a military, they're the next best thing.
And what is the beat really China and America is those chips, semiconductors. Right? They using the whole China beat, the China America to speed up prophecy as well. Because now you got almost like a Cold War. I mean, an arms race. Back then it was U.S. versus Soviets, right? With the that
Tech race now.
in the tech race now, exactly. Because now it's like, oh look, China just invested this, and that, and this. So America has to do the same thing. And then what it does is it sparks instead of people actually looking at it and saying, hold on, this is actually not good for us. They look at it more from a nationalistic perspective. That oh, China's doing it, so we got to do it because we need to be better than them. Meanwhile, you're inching faster and closer to your own demise, and they don't know that. If China is saying, look, we're going to change from factories and make it automation, and that's what's going to boost our economy. Our people don't have to work no more. Even if you do have to work, it's going to be like Trump said. There's a new thing, 32-hour work week now. I'm like, that's not going to work. That's not going to cut it. You know why? Because people need to work overtime to make ends meet now. Now you say, oh, you work only 32 hours. Nigga, that's not enough, bro. That's not enough, man. And that's what's that going to do is these companies, they need people to work. If you say, oh, you can only do 32 hours and pay them for it, guess what? They need more help. So what happens? They have to do an overhaul. This is not working. We need to go full on automation. And people are going to lose jobs. When people lose jobs, they're going to complain. When they complain, the solution is going to be the UPI. And then within the UPI, you're going to have the MOTV to prove that you are so and so you can receive your social benefits, man. That's what we're telling you.
The whole message we're given it sums up to that. Very quick precept. This is a book of Ecclesiasticus, and it goes back to a point your brothers made about teaching somebody who's sleeping. This is Ecclesiasticus 22 and verse 7. It says, "Whoso teacheth a fool is as one that glueth a potsherd together, and as he that waketh one from a sound sleep." So we when we do this work, you're gonna have people they're not gonna hear you because they're sleeping, right? Virtually, if they're sleeping. So when they hear this, it's like mumbling in the background. And then they might tune out of sleep for a little bit and then hear a few words and then go right back to sleep because they didn't like what they heard. Right? Verse 8 it says, "He that telleth a tale to a fool speaketh to one in a slumber. When he hath told his tale, he would say, What is the matter?" Right? So you done went keep breaking things down. Nigga gonna wake up. What's the matter? What you saying? What just happened? What just happened? You talking? Were you saying something to me? Who? You talking to me? I was sleeping. Why you still talking to me? you know, he might curse you. You piss him off because you woke him up. And that's a lot of people. Why you telling me all this, man? I didn't want to know all this stuff, man. You know, I know friends and family that you tell them what's going on. And it's almost like you scarred them.
Yeah, get to the part where they're supposed to have a reaction, they
Yeah,
don't.
they don't.
You know, it's like you're explaining it to them, and you get to that part, and then they just like you're like, I know you didn't get what I said.
Last time, you tell someone, yo, what I'm telling you is important. You could die if you don't take it. Yeah, I could die. I want to die. And you're like, what the fuck? Right. He hates the word so much that he want to die. You want to die rather than hear the truth. And the Lord is going to grant you that wish. Hey, no problem. There you go. If I die, I die. But you don't.
That's in my back pocket.
Yeah. Now you don't understand the magnitude of what we're saying here. It's not just a random ass death. Yeah. Think of who the fuck is about to die and actually wants to die. Most people,
That's how you know the devil is a beast, man. Because if you were living and you're saying I don't care if I die,
right?
like what? What? That's because you're living in hell. So you're living in a place like, yo, man, it can't be that much worse than this shit. Like in the kingdom, we were talking about on the child, like people ain't gonna want to die, but they're not gonna have that. Like the heathens are gonna be sad that they get old. They gonna what's the they be telling the old people what's the secret to life living long? They be like, oh, you gotta eat your vegetables, and people they're gonna be upset that they get old, man. That's why they gonna say, oh, let's learn your ways. Like yo, let's teach us how to righteousness. The scripture says righteousness is immortality. I want to be righteous. Like yeah, but it's not it's just not written because you gonna commit a sin, you gonna do something. But they gonna be out here. Yo, can you teach us how to do X, Y, and Z? Everything, everything to the key, man. And they gonna get to live longer, but eventually, because you're still gonna die because you don't have what it takes. Yep. We should go to seek. We should go seek His God because our God is the only one that can provide immortality. Because our God is the only one that is a living God from everlasting to everlasting.
To answer your point, Ezekiel 16:6, dealing with when the Lord made Israel his chosen, right? Living in Egypt. Ezekiel 16:6, and when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted in thine own blood, I said unto thee when thou wast in thy blood, live. Yea, I said unto thee when thou wast in thy blood, live. For the Lord said unto you, live. No, in other words, we were in a fucked up condition, like a baby that was just thrown out in the field with the umbilical cord hanging out in a pile of blood. Right. And the Lord found us and said, live. I'm gonna make you my people. So this is life. But here it is. Look around. If we pan around the camera, all you see is death. Concrete, smog, pollution, and death. Yeah, sirens, chaos. Somebody probably just died just now. You know, there was a woman over here. She had a baby in the cold in the winter. He don't know what the hell's going on. Clinging on for dear life in a stroller with death and danger all around. This is not life.
And contaminated rain coming from the fucking cloud.
They got heavy metals in the rain, microplastics. Like this is death. So when somebody say, "Oh, I might die," it's like, well, you already died. Like you already died. The Lord said, He doesn't take pleasure in death.
of Israel. Because Israel initially wasn't supposed to die. Who is created, starting with Adam, was created in the image of the Most High eternity. These heathens, and that's why the serpent envied Adam and Eve. Because it's like, y'all not dying. We don't want to die. But see, Esau, he claims, and speaking specifically about Amalek, they claim to be the people of God. Well, why don't you promote the scriptures then? Why don't you promote righteousness as being the way to have immortality? Why are you all in our No Harari, which is an Amalekite? Why are you promoting inorganic? Why are you promoting techno immortality? Why are you not saying, the God you know, he gives immortality? Why are you not saying that? They say Klaus Schwab goes back to the Rothschilds. So he's an Amalekite. Why are you not? Why the lords of this earth, right? Lord Jacob, Lord, Lord. Why are you not saying, hey, serve the Lord? Oh yeah. Small hat too.
That's cool. Every different.
But hey, that's what the thing is. And we talked about this before. How you notice these devils are pushing this artificial immortality, and all of them devils that comes up and they talk all this shit. They use the word young global leaders and all that. But you look at it, they're all old. They're all old, bro. They're all decrepit. And look at us. We're all young men. So even if we're to go hand to hand combat, it's a game over rap, man. So how much more in the spirit? Thinking of, Yahushua is going to come back. Whose equivalent do you have that's going to be Yahushua? When he comes back, who do you have? Comes back young. Yeah.
Young
Hmm? Yeah, you say something? Yeah, see, the scripture talks about the lion from the soil, and he was a shepherd that's standing
man.
right
Yeah,
now.
there you go.
That's more by you.
That's good.
Yeah, that's what people always want. Women want to go down. That's what all the surgery and all that pills that they try to they got there's that pill where basically regenerate the cells so that you can they make the sucking of the blood. What's it called? Adrenochrome. They take that from young dick.
Foreskins.
Huh?
Take foreskins and they make it into cream.
Oh,
You don't have any wrinkles.
how do you know that? How do you know a foreskin does that? And they do a conference and diligent search. So the beaver anus and what's the beers and sperm for like for I mean, bro, man, they got that shit products for women for their face and shit. My girl showed me like a TikTok like they got hill sperm that makes their face rejuvenate and shit. Bro, I'm like, yo, this nigga don't stop, yo.
Why women are so bugged out. Now, that's the difference. It goes into your pores, right? It enters into your bloodstream.
Yeah,
That's great. That's what we call them like sorcerers, you know, because there's no this isn't science, you know. That's what it is.
So the devil, man. He masked witchcraft with science. He said, "Oh, it's
Don't put
science."
a scientific name on the label, so you won't know what it is.
You know what it
Oh, yeah.
is.
Oh, yeah. Artificial product.
Like they'll have I saw a documentary where a red dye is literally just like some termites. Or just, yeah,
Crush up.
just crush it with the powder.
Wow.
But you don't see the word termite
Right.
in the like you see some fucking long ass word.
Like, what the fuck is this?
Oh yeah, that's termites. But we gonna call it some.
Say some other shit. That's Esau for you, man. He used
Yeah.
double speak to advertise shit to deceive people more and more. He gonna say, "Oh, look, this toothpaste right here, it helps in reducing cavity." Nigga, what kind of what? It's not. So it's not gonna cure the cavity. It's not gonna stop the cavities from happening. It's just gonna help in reducing cavity. What? How much do I need to help reduce it? How much? He doesn't go into that because he's not. He doesn't want to be liable to be sued. Oh, I use the toothpaste. You told me my cavity's gonna be gone. Yeah, I didn't say that. I said it's gonna help. It could help. It's possible that it could help. You know what I'm saying? It's all up to you though. And how you interpret the word, what I'm saying, it's up to you. If you buy it, you bought it. You know what I'm saying? So they always use these funny little words, double speak to trick people into doing things, man.
And that's why they have new words coming out every year.
Every year.
If you're not looking to deceive someone, why the hell do you need so many words?
Right.
Why do you need 13 synonyms, for one word? It doesn't make any sense. You're trying to deceive people.
Right.
And if you go into Hebrew, the words are pretty much simple. It's just like two familiar words being put together, or this one comes from another word that means that, and this, that, and the third. But they just put words at their ass, so just so nobody knows what it means at all. And then just put in dictionaries and it's a new word, you know.
That's why they don't use the word war anymore. They use the word conflict.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
nigga.
These were excursions. Yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. Like people, sometimes you talk to people, they're like, yeah, no. Oh yeah. What is that?
Yeah. No.
Hebrew is con or la'ah.
Yeah,
You don't say con la'ah. It's either yes or no. Yeah. That's it. Everything that this man comes with is upside down, bro. Anytime you tangle with a serpent, you're gonna get bit. These women go to the doctor and they trusted this man in his medicine, they end up getting a C-section and cut open. He's telling you, listen, if you follow the Lord and you be obedient, you're gonna be able to have 100 children and your body's gonna look the same. Yeah. If y'all really knew what was on the line here, you wouldn't be acting the way you do, right?
Well, that's what she did, right? That's why she gotta stand in her because she got deceived by the serpent. She gave up immortality. Now you gotta make that shit worthwhile. But it's not worthwhile. You gave up immortality for some physical pleasure, right? Because it tastes good, it smells good. So now you're like, well, there. Now you're like, you know what? I'm gonna keep fucking with the serpent. Well, you trying though. What do you mean? Well, okay, at least I got my freedom.
They don't even see him as the devil. They just see him as their partner. You know, they see the white man as their deliverer. They'll fight their own, they fight their own people, their own men. Just so they can exalt Esau over their men.
Um, actually, close that out. Yeah.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1, it says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add."
Yep. So that's saying most of the rebellious children, man, because once again, you can see who the people are that are rebelling. Because the Lord laid it out, he said in second Esdras that he gave you the wine. The wine path is right there, but you revoked it again. So most of the rebellious children, now you're taking counsel, but that's not of the Lord. Because the Lord is providing you the wise counsel through his men, through the prophets, telling you, hey, this is the path to walk therein. You want to find rest, this is how you rest. This is how you have safety. This is how you have security. This is how you have happiness. But no. We don't want that. We want to go out. So you add sin onto sin. And the scripture tells you that what wages of sin is death. So you won't get exactly what you want. That's it. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 2, and it says, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
Yep. So you trusting in Babylon, you trusting in the quote unquote vision that these Edomites are telling you, but that they had when shaping the future. What do you think that future looks like for you? Look at the past. Look at your past and how this stuff worked, how he moved. You can't find a time in history where so was good to today. That now one point where it was like, oh, Esau, man, that you a good guy. It might have been even when Jacob had to fight with Esau, and then the Lord had to put a spirit on Esau because Jacob prayed. It was like, yo, you know, like, make sure he cool right now because I had a story to play out. But his feet, that nigga gonna hate this, and that goes back to the garden. He said, what? I should put enmity between her seed and my seed. So it's always been that way. But here it is, you going to him for help. Never trust our enemy, but now we gonna trust him. We think, I think, and that's Jake. And Jake always think like, yo, maybe this time will be different.
Then
That's exactly what insanity is. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 3, and it reads, so therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt.
Go. So that's the time that we're in right now, man. You trusting in Babylon. The Lord already gave the warning, right? He already told you what it is, what's coming, who's going to do it, what he's going to do, what it's going to lead to, and it's up to you whether or not, as Joshua, choose you this day. Who are you going to serve? I lay before you life and death, right? From the beginning, we saying that the song has been sung. So if you don't want to hearken to the voice, you don't want to listen to the lyrics, there's nothing you can do. That's why y'all always said it. What y'all like in the generation two? I lamented, you didn't mourn, or we piped, you ain't danced. So we're really going to close up shop. We're going to take our instruments, be like, you know what, hey, we're good. And that's it. And that's why I said that then would still hide itself in her secret chamber. And at that point, that's when you're going to be looking for answers. But there ain't going to be none at that point because we don't give you the answer. You know, doing that. And also, hey, we're going to close it out with that. Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect, giving all praises, honor, and glory to. Okay.